warm welcome to Power News, your window to the power sector. I'm Juhi Rajput. Let's begin with the top stories. If you can't run Discom, clear out, says Supreme Court to BSES. Supreme Court orders ADAG's Delhi Discom to pay Rs 45 crore to DVC. Delhi gets 220 megawatt from Bhavana plant. CAG seeks Power Ministry's reply on Sasan coal diversion. CERC may impose penalty on states for overdrawing power. Merchant producer makes huge profit on power prices. Fourth 300 megawatt unit of JSW Energy's Ratnagiri plant comes on stream. Mahagenco eyes franchisees to run thermal power station, and Aditya Birla Group and Power Grid eye Portuguese power utilities. Well, those were the top stories of the week. Let's move to our next section, quick updates, to know the latest developments in the power sector. State-owned Coal India Limited has fallen back on its production targets. The private too has not made much headway in the coal mining sector. According to the Power Ministry estimates, of the 98 blocks that had been handed over to the private sector player, production has commenced only in 13 blocks. As a result, the expected production by March in 2012 is likely to be just around 20 million tons against a projected 100 million tons. One of the main reasons of the dismal trend is that non-serious players have cornered a majority of captive blocks on offer and have no plans to adhere to the project development milestones. CRISIL Ratings has come out with its report on the power sector lenders' health. Exposure of the Rs 560 billion at risk by March 2013. In the absence of reforms, the health of lenders to the power sector is under scrutiny, giving the rising stress in the sector. These lenders, including Indian Banks, Power Finance Corporation and Rural Electrification Corporation, have so far shown resilient performance, but urgently need strong policy action to reform the sector. Around 560 billion of these lenders' exposure is potentially at risk if there is no meaningful progress on reforms in the next 18 months. Tariff of coal-based power projects has quadrupled in the past 6 months, compelling power generating companies to stop burning costlier imported coal. As a result, the imported coal power generating companies contracted that fiscal year is piling up at ports. Ironically, at a time when the country is facing an acute shortage of the fuel. Retail tariffs may increase many-fold if distribution companies are allowed to pass on the price hike to the consumers. Cost of generating electricity at NTPC's Farakka project in West Bengal rose to Rs 5.50 per unit about a month ago. It's stationed at Khelgaon in Bihar and Dadri in Uttar Pradesh and Simhadri in Andhra Pradesh are generating electricity at Rs 4 to 4.50 per unit. The power would cost around 6.50 to 7 per unit to distribution companies. And now let's have a look at the power scenario of the major states of the country. Let's start with national capital Delhi. The city continued to be hit by long power cuts, leading to water crisis in many areas. Even as Delhi government blamed poll-bound UP for aggravating the problem while promising the outages in a day or two. Here is a detailed report by our correspondent.
Residents of Vikaspuri in West Delhi had barely 2 hours of electricity since early morning, while in South Extension, power outage in the morning hours left many residents without water. In East Delhi, Mayur Vihar and Patparganj area, residents complained of power cut lasting up to 4 hours at a stretch, while Naudeh residents said supply was intermittent throughout the day, leading to voltage fluctuations and appliances going kaput. Almost a week after the power crisis started crippling life in the city, the state government said it would be sorted out within a day or two. The capital has been seeing a shortfall of close to 1,000 megawatt on a peak demand of around 3,500 megawatt, mainly due to reduced generation from NTPC plant due to shortage of coal and undwelling hydel generation.
Delhi that houses the Office of Central Electricity Authority, the apex planning body for country's power sector, has been seeing an average of 3 to 4 hours of load shedding on a daily basis over the past few days. CEA too has not been spared.
Nearly 90 lakh subscribers in West Bengal, bearing Kolkata, now face daily power cut as long as 4 to 5 hours with the state utilities running out of money for pay of coal. While declining own generation, the average shortfall in the state is now running up to 600 megawatt a day. Similar to West Bengal, the crisis in the other eastern areas cannot be linked to the national coal availability issues. Bihar, for example, simply lacked the basic minimum power infrastructure of all these decades, now working overtime for creating the same. The state has a mere 100 odd megawatt of power generation capacity and is still dependent on central sector to meet the demand in cities like Patna. Despite being a major source of coal, Jharkhand has a few archaic state-controlled generation units with larger part of state dependent on central supplies. The exceptions are Chhattisgarh and Odisha. From a power-starved state, Chhattisgarh has now become power surplus banking on its coal reserve, whereas Odisha sources nearly 60 to 70% of electricity through hydropower. After about 5 days of drastic power cut, the supply situation in Maharashtra is slowly returning to normalcy. This week, total power in the grid was 12,500 megawatt. When the crisis broke, it was less than 11,000 megawatt. An additional 1,500 megawatt has given a big relief to the villages in the state, which have been reeling under the acute power shortage. The Telangana Bandh, coupled with flooding in coal mines in Odisha, led to acute coal shortage in Maharashtra, but Mahagenco has pumped up hydropower generation from Koyna plant from 200 megawatt to about 1,000 megawatt to meet the shortfall. Karnataka is passing through 27% power shortage mainly due to the sudden spurt in demand for the irrigation sector and reduction in power generation due to coal shortages. The present scenario is expected to last for a couple of months. While rural areas in Karnataka face a 6-hour scheduled power cut daily, the urban area face 2 hours. Bangalore city's spare of power cuts since it's the largest contributor to the state in terms of revenue. Coal and natural gas supply crunch has led to severe demand-supply mismatch of power generation and supply in Andhra Pradesh. The situation is similar in few other states. The month-long strike by miners of state-owned Silangani Quarries Company Limited in support of Telangana agitation has disrupted the power generation. It has a cascading impact on southern grid and in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu in particular. With miners calling off strike late on Monday, things may particularly ease up, helping step up thermal power generation.
The power situation in Tamil Nadu is quite tight and the industry is indeed suffering for the want of electricity. Since electricity prices on the power exchanges are also firm, there appears to be no respite for consumers in the state.
Chief Minister Jayalalitha has written to Prime Minister Manmohan Singh pointing out the alarming situation regarding unpaid dues of TANGEDCO, the distribution arm of State Electricity Board of Tamil Nadu. The Chief Minister has requested a bailout package of 40,000 crore to wipe out Discom's burden, whose current dues are almost rupees 43,000 crore. It's time for a quick break, but there is a lot more on the other side. Stay tuned in.